about how to build a business, you have the right to know, have they ever built a business? So, Paula has been in business in network marketing longer than I have. She was the first single woman in North America to become a diamond with the Amway Corporation. She stayed with them for quite a while. She has managed to work her way to the top of virtually every company that she has been involved with over the years. I met Paula in 1986. At that time, I was an investment advisor. I was part owner of an investment firm. She was a client. What she didn't know was that I hated the investment business. With a passion, I hated it. I was one of those people who I got up every morning, I went to work to do something I really didn't want to do, but I was making too much money to quit. So I began to learn from Paula about network marketing. And I figured, why didn't I do this? Because the first company was really no different than what I had done in the investment business originally. When I first got in the investment business, I went to work with a national firm. There was me as what we call the retail end of the business, because I met the clients. There was a district manager, a division manager, a regional manager, and a national sales manager. 5 levels, and they all got a piece of whatever I sold. Right? So, the company that she was with happened to be a network marketing company that paid 5 levels, 5%. So to me, it didn't look any different than what I did, but what it meant was I was going to control my life. I was going to be in control of what was happening. So I did network marketing part-time, ran an investment business for 8 months, part-time. Managed to get out of that and sold my half of the partnership, and that would have been in June. I got involved in network marketing in June of 1987, so I'm coming up on my 29th year in June. And Paul was born, just so you know. So we have built, the first business we were in, we built in the United North America. Paula, they asked Paula to go to Europe. That's when we formed a partnership. We both had separate spots. And she built that business. She opened Europe for them, essentially. Unfortunately, the company did not do what it was supposed to do in terms of its ethics and its policies, and we ended up leaving. And how many Sapphire Elites or above do we have in here? Okay, remember the card game they made us do yesterday? And what was the deal breaker card? Okay, mine is trust. Always. If I lose trust, I can't do it. So for me, we lost trust in that company. We went to a second company and we built a business of 200,000 people in 16 countries. And it wasn't a binary. It was what is called a breakaway. You had to have, I think it was 6 lines. We had 12. We were 12 wide, and and that's how we built. So when we came here 2 years ago, we came with a team. Some of them are here. When we looked at Jeunesse, we saw Jeunesse. We really liked what we saw. We had a company that was falling apart because of the management. And what happened is we decided that we really liked Jeunesse, but we did not want to make the decision for our leaders. So we told the company that we had 28 leaders we wanted to bring in to take a look. We brought 28 leaders in. They looked at it. The company did a presentation for us, kind of like a Discover Jeunesse privately. And at the end, we asked the company to leave the room. It said to the group, so what do you want to do? And to a person, they said, we're in. So all of them came in, they all bought ambassador packs, and we were off and running. So we started with an edge, just so you know. But in the beginning, there wasn't any edge. We had to learn. So here's what we're going to do. I figure we're going to take about 30 to 35 minutes running through this, and then we want to leave time for you to ask questions. Because sometimes we never hit what's really in your mind. So we want to make sure that we do that. So, in order to build a business, to create a massive team, and to build it to last, because trust me, I started over, it is not fun. So, if you want to build it to last, here are some things that you need to do. First, having a positive attitude is essential to building a successful business. But having an ongoing, consistent positive attitude is essential to building a massive business. So, and I want to tell you this, I don't mean you have a positive attitude and you're wearing rose-colored glasses and, you know, all you do is say, everything's great, everything's great, everything's great, when a person comes to you and says, I'm having problems. A positive attitude to me is you have the attitude that anything can be fixed, that you can help them resolve their issues, that you don't brush away things and because somebody has an issue say, oh, you're being negative. Well, they're not being negative. They've got an issue. They want help. But I do mean that you can't let the little things get you down. Every company is going to make mistakes. I heard people coming in here saying, oh, we can't find a place. It's just a mess. It's all, you know, yeah, right. But that's not a big deal. You recognize, okay, they weren't well organized for you. But you know what you do? You say, okay, I'm still going to get everything I can out of my 47 wherever I'm going. So that's number one. Number two is Pritchard.
Oh, you were that quick? Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. All right.
There it is.
Okay. Having belief is critical to success. How you doing? Big room. Having belief in yourself having belief in yourself and the company is essential to building a successful business. Having unshakable belief is essential to building a massive business. I think it's funny to try to talk about how to build a massive business in 45 minutes. But, you know, we tried to pick key points and go through them as much as we could. And I have to tell you, you know, when I look at belief, which it really comes in three areas. It comes in belief in network marketing, belief in the company, and belief in yourself. And when I became involved in network marketing, it was at a time when network marketing was being attacked by the FTC. This was a time, my first company was Amway, so this was a time when the FTC was going after network marketing and trying to get them into stores. Shackley, have you ever heard of Shackley? Yeah. Shackley actually opened up stores. It's like Forrest Shackley sold out to investors. Investors then collapsed when the FTC came, and so there were Shackley stores being opened everywhere. It was Amway that fought the FTC. But you know, I became involved at a time when network marketing wasn't very popular, and so you were constantly being attacked that it's a pyramid, it's illegal, it's all these things. So it was almost like I had to develop kind of alligator skin in the very beginning, and I had to decide: do I really believe I can do this industry or not? And do I really believe in this company or not? But most importantly, do I believe in myself? And it's like a stool with three legs. You know, you got to have all three legs, or that stool's you're not gonna be able to sit on that stool. And many people that have ever heard my story know those first 15 months I struggled in network marketing. I was not successful at all. I was trying to reinvent the wheel. I thought I was committed. I said the right things. I thought I was doing some of the right things, but I was also teaching at a university, so I had a full-time career. And it wasn't until I hit adversity that I really had to sit down and question what is my belief. I mean, do I really believe I can do this? And you know, some of you might have to go through that adversity. You might have to come to a point where it's not working. I'm going to quit. I'm getting out of this. Network marketing doesn't work for me. And I was at that point where I was ready to quit. And you know, my story's a lot longer than that. But the point of it was, I made the decision I couldn't quit because I couldn't look at myself in the mirror as a quitter. So then I had to reevaluate network marketing. I had to reevaluate the company, but most importantly, I had to reevaluate myself. And when I got to that point, I finally made the decision that I am now all in. And you're going to come to a point where you have to decide, am I all in or am I straddling the fence? And when you decide you're all in, because when I decided, I said, I'm going to the top of this business or I'm going to be dead on the side. That was it. I'm going to the top or I'm going to be dead on the side. I was going to step off the curb, I was going to put both feet on the ice, and I was going to make it happen. And when I did that, all of a sudden, people wanted to join me. I say to people, you know, I'm going to the top, I really want you to go with me, I think we'd be great together, but either way I'm going. And all of a sudden, people wanted to join me. And I thought, what's the difference? And the difference was my belief had changed. I said, I thought I had believed the first 15 months. If you said you believe, I said, yeah, I believe. But it wasn't until adversity I crossed the line to a different level of belief, and it made all the difference, because you have to understand it's not what you say, it's the energy that comes off of you. When you walk into a room and somebody's positive and somebody's negative, one repels you and one attracts you. You don't know what it is. It's not anything they're saying. It's an energy that comes off of them. When you believe, you have an energy. When you're all in, you have an energy. When you're straddling the fence, it's tentative. Straddling the fence is tentative. There is no power in tentative. So belief is critical if you're going to build a business.
Having goals is essential to building a good business, a successful business. But you're going to click on the for me since you're holding it. Having goals and a plan of action is essential. This is something that our team does, because we have learned that if somebody in this room said to me, I'm going to be a Ruby by the end of the year, 9 out of 10 times, do you know when they're going to start working on that? Oh, about November, right? So we always try to put a plan of action together for our team, even if they've been in the business a year or 2 years. I have a little thing that I ask them. I make them fill out this little chart that says, how many people have you sponsored, how long did you get in, when did you sponsor your last person. That was me. And then how many of the people that you brought in are actually building a business. And then from there, once they get that number, I say to them, look at these people and figure out why they didn't build. 1, they never intended to. 2, they had a life crisis. 3, they just decided this was not for them. Or 4, they didn't get the training and support they needed. So, this is really about the only ones there are. Can anybody guess which one is most of them?
Life crisis.
4. Last one.
They never intended to. Do you know why? Because if you have, this is a problem especially really good recruiters have. Because you're so good and you push them so hard that they finally throw up their hands in surrender and say, okay, I'll get in. But they're going to go business. Or they're a friend or a family member that wants to help you. But all they're really going to do is use the product. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what I want people to do, the standard network marketing line is, if you aren't doing anything, if you aren't making it, just go sponsor a bunch of people. But if you already sponsored a bunch and they're not doing anything, do you really want to go sponsor a bunch more that aren't? No. You have to evaluate. And this is a business. If you had invested $500,000 in a business and it wasn't working, wouldn't you take the time to look at what you've been doing and evaluate it? Yeah. That's what you do here. So if you want to be a Ruby at the end of this year, you want to figure out what do you need to do to get to Ruby, back it up every single month, and figure out what do you have to do each month. That's how you get to the positions here. So it is really important that you have a plan of action. And being committed to those goals and that plan of action. Being committed to achieving your goals is essential to the business. But being committed to helping your team get their goals, that's the key to building a massive business. When we brought those 28 leaders, we have people in our business we've not. Judy, where are you? Back here. We met them in 1988. In the first business I was in, we were not in each other's organization. We had not been all through the 1990s, but we are friends, and they're unbelievably great networkers. Carrie Dean, we met her in 2004. So we have people who are with us that grew up with the same knowledge, so our entire don't have somebody who's helping you, then you have to figure out how to do it and then help your team. But helping your people, letting them know that you want what they want for themselves is really important because it's what's going to keep them with you through the bad times. And sooner or later, we always know. Cheers.
Recruiting. All right. One of the lifebloods of our business. Recruiting is essential to building a successful business. But I know people who have recruited hundreds and hundreds of people and they're not successful yet. Why? Because recruiting the right people is essential to building a massive business. And you know, I use an analogy, I've used it for years, and it has to do with Coca-Cola. And many of you know that Coca-Cola is a very successful business. It didn't start out that way. It started out with some little brown liquid. I think it had some extra juice in it. And if you would have said, do you think this is going to be a multi-billion-dollar business someday? I think a lot of people probably would have said, no, I don't think so. But Coca-Cola right now is a multi-billion-dollar business. But let's say that you own Coca-Cola and you have the rights to take it worldwide. And in order to do that, you had come to the conclusion you needed 5 key people to help you do that. Which 5 would you choose? Would you choose your brother-in-law? I don't know. I guess everybody has a different brother-in-law. Would you choose your next-door neighbors? It all depends. I don't know about you, I choose the 5 sharpest people I can find. How do you find those 5 sharp people if you're going to build a serious business? Do you just run an ad? Do you put instant liaisons out there and you just do some internet recruiting and hope that you'll sort through it? Do you do a 3-foot rule? If they're within 3 feet, I'm going to offer them the opportunity to be one of my 5 partners in Coca-Cola. Those 5 people are going to make lots of money. Would you pick them because they're 3 feet away? Or would you pick them because they fogged the mirror when they were right there next to the mirror? No, you wouldn't. You'd be selective. You'd be looking for those key people. I look for 4 different traits in a person. I want them to be ambitious. I want them to want more, be hungry, have a lot of energy towards that. I want them to be positive. I don't want to hang around people that bring me down. I want them to be self-starters. I want them to be people who want to run side by side and finish the race with me. I don't want to be dragging them across the finish line. If I have a wagon and I'm pushing up a hill, I don't want them sitting in it while I do all the pushing. I want them helping me. Is that right? You have people like that? And I want them to be coachable. If I'm going to teach them something, I want them to be paying attention and taking notes and wanting to learn. And so, those are the kind of people I'm looking for. And so, the way you invite someone to look at the business is their first training. Sometimes they're interested in the business, but the way you invited them was you were pushy, you were coming across like you were desperate, and they're thinking, well, I'd love to do the business, but if I have to come across the same way you are coming across to me, I don't want to do that to my friends or people I know. So you need to be professional from the beginning. You need to be sorting through people like you're looking for those 5 partners for Coca-Cola. You need to be sorting. I always come from a solution standpoint. I always want to know what is it that they want. Whether they want out of a job they hate or they want out of debt. What is it they want? Do they want to travel more? Do they want freedom? Do they want more money? I want people that want something. And it's not just what they say. When they come in the business, I have to evaluate what do they do. your emotions get involved. So, you're looking for people who fit those kind of categories. You're looking for people who fit those kinds of needs. And understand this, one of the biggest fallacies is to think because they're already in my business, it's much easier to make them successful than to just replace them with somebody new. All right? It's much easier to replace them. When I was in Amway, I sponsored, you needed 6 people, I sponsored 6 people. I said, okay, I got my 6, I'm going to make them successful, whether they want to be or not. What I did is I made them miserable, and I made me miserable. So, anyway, these are key points on building a massive business versus just sponsoring to build a successful business. If you want to build a massive one, you've got to do things a little bit different. Okay, next is activity. Consistent activity is essential to building a successful business, but consistent, targeted, income-producing activity is essential to building a massive business. And you have to determine what are the income-producing activities. Because I'm going to tell you, running around training everybody is not income-producing. There's really only 2 things that are income-producing in network marketing. One is recruiting, and one is promoting events. One is recruiting. I'm going to talk about promoting events here in a few minutes. But, and especially be good at a certain part of recruiting, which is the invitation. So spend your time being good at the invitation. Create the curiosity that makes them want to come and hear about your business. Make them chase after you. Have the solution. Everybody wants a solution. That they come to you saying, I want to hear this. What could be the solution to get me out of my job? What could be the solution to get me out of debt? You need to listen, then focus in on what it is that they want. And don't assume everybody wants a lot of money. Because money has to be turned into something. If you say, hey, I got a way to make a lot of money, well, maybe that day they had a big leak in one of their pipes and they need money to pay for the damage or maybe they have a car breakdown and they're thinking, okay, I can make money to do stuff to my car. Well, what I really want is out of my job. Don't leave it to chance. Go for the job. Go for what you know is their hot button. But on activity, evaluate every day, how much time am I going to spend doing the things that produce money? The activities that are income producing. When you get involved in the business, 80% of your time for the first 90 days should be recruiting for yourself personally. 20% helping your people with 3-way calls, helping them recruit. After 90 days, it'll reverse. You'll spend 20% on yourself and 80% on them, doing 3 ways and helping them. If you want to build a massive business, do 2 90 days back to back. Do an 80-20 for yourself, back to back, for 2 90 days, for 6 months. Try to fit as much as you can in helping your other people, but never, ever stop recruiting. You never, ever stop recruiting. And then, if you want to, people say, how do I motivate my group? You don't motivate your group. You inspire your group by doing what you're asking them to do. In other words, if I ask them to recruit, I need to recruit. If I ask them to focus on income-producing activities, I need to do it first. And I need to do it every day and every week and every month. I need to be focused on setting the example. Okay? And you as leaders, if you want to build a massive business, you have to set the example. Kat, that's yours.
Okay. I do want to say something, just so we're clear. We aren't talking a lot about customers here because we're talking about building a massive team. And part of what you'll do is as you meet people who are not the kind of people that are going to be sponsored by you, those people can become your customers. And there's a whole session on customers. One of the sessions is on customers. So we're going to stay with building the business with distributors. Providing a basic training is essential to building a successful business. But, providing basic Now this says duplicable. Do you know in network marketing we use duplicatable? But it's not really a word. So we keep getting those little red lines, but we'll call it duplicatable. Okay, duplicatable training is essential. Remember the story I told you about the company that we had with the 200,000 people, 16 countries? The one before that, we had a huge business in a number of countries. And that was back in the days when we still used overhead projectors. I know some of you have never seen one, but we used one. And we had overheads. We had trainings on product, on recruiting, on how you set up your business. We had a whole series. Okay, you could have gone to a meeting in Los Angeles on a Saturday morning, and a meeting in London, and a meeting in Germany, all on the same day, and they would be teaching the exact same thing. They all had the overheads. It was just in their own language. It was all of our people taught the same thing. The only difference was who was speaking, the language, and the stories they told. But you know what that gave our people? A sense of comfort. That I could send people anywhere, and they would be okay. In the next business, we did the same thing, and we had some issues with a team in Amsterdam who, as the Europeans call it, were poaching. So you sent somebody there, and they somehow ended up in one of the local people's teams. And so what we did was, that was back in the days of fax machines, we sent a broadcast fax to everybody. Don't send anybody to the Amsterdam meeting, because they're poaching. And it was our team. And so what we did is, that meeting went to from 400 or 500 people to virtually nothing. And then we finally got a call and they said, okay, we get the point. We won't do this again. And then we put out a thing that said, okay, talk to the people. If you weren't, if you have any problems, let us know. And we went back. So our people all did the same thing. That's how you build. If you have to train everybody individually, you have no time to do anything else. And there's a synergy in a team all doing the same thing. So no matter how you develop it, that is key.
Promoting events. Promoting events is essential to building a successful business. I don't think a lot of people really understand this like they should. I didn't initially, I do now. But promoting events enthusiastically is essential to building a massive business. I talk about two of the highest paid skills, but when I evaluate some of the most successful people in network marketing, they're really, really good at promoting. And promoting gives them the bigger picture, gives people the bigger picture. Because when they come to an event, their belief grows by seeing people like you come across the stage and succeed. Because all of a sudden, they might look at somebody who's a diamond and say, I can't do it. But when they see someone who's a sapphire, become a sapphire that they relate to, it's a whole different picture. I used to give an analogy of everyone at an event having a light bulb attached to their head. And all of a sudden, somebody says something, and all of a sudden, it's like they get it. They get the bigger picture, the light bulb goes off. And there'll be different flashes during a training or during a presentation. And I have to tell you, events give them the bigger picture. It increases their belief. Belief is like a chain. The more links you add to it, the stronger it can be. And you can also lose a link. If there's something a company does or an upline does that makes you lose belief. And so coming to an event increases your belief in those things like I talked about, the network marketing, the company, yourself. And it helps give you a bigger picture, but more importantly, it gives you the knowing that you were in the right place. Oh my gosh, this is much bigger than I thought it was. This opportunity, the magnitude of this opportunity is beyond what I ever comprehended earlier. And if I stay home, your vision doesn't grow. And the bigger the vision is here, the bigger the story that comes out of your mouth when you talk to people. If you have a teeny-weeny vision, you're going to tell a teeny-weeny story. And so you need to have the bigger picture. You need to not only have it in your head, but you need to have it in your knowing. Because in your knowing, it comes out of your pores. And that's what you want. So getting to an event, I'm going to tell you, there are people who that is their main just promoting events. Because they know if they can get their people to something like this, they're going to hear a Kathy, or they're going to hear one of you, or they're going to hear somebody of the owners, they're going to hear somebody that touches them, that all of a sudden gives them the bigger picture. And so that should be one of your main focuses, is promoting events. The other one is communication. Communication is essential to have it with your people. You know, having communication is essential to building a successful business, but having targeted, respectful communication is essential to building a massive business. And you know, one of the things I learned a long time ago was the hierarchy of communication. And one of the things that we do is we make sure our top leaders know the information first. The last thing I want is one of their downline coming and telling them something that they should have known first. It shows respect. You know, it says that I honor these people and I respect them. And you know, one of the things that, you know, we never go around people to communicate to their downline unless they're inactive. But you know, you always try to ask permission. That shows respect. When, you know, the thing that we were doing yesterday, it was, we talked about the deal breaker, and we should have had up here trust, because trust is the deal breaker. Because, you know, when you show respect and you honor your downline, they will show respect and honor their people. And there's a trust that goes back and forth. You know, Kathy always talks about communication with an Oreo. If you need to tell somebody something that they need to improve on, you always, you know, it's like the cream in an Oreo. You tell them something good about themselves, you add you need to improve on this, and boy, if you do, you're going to be fantastic. You know, you try to put it in an Oreo, like an Oreo sandwich. And that's true. And if I have something that someone's not listening and they're not hearing, I try to do it more in a group session, not specific to them or not that highlights them, but I want them to understand that everybody else understands, so that they start to think, wow, you know, everybody's going to know now that what I'm doing is probably you know, not the thing I should be doing, you know, as far as respect or honoring or social media. I mean, it's such a challenge because in one way it's good, and in another way, if somebody's mad at somebody, it can turn into a negative. And so it's something that has added a new dimension to our business for sure. But anyway, communication is real key. And one of the other things that helps build trust is to give credit where credit's due. You know, I've been plagiarized in things I've written. I've been plagiarized in trainings I've done. And I have to say that, you know, I believe that credit belongs to that. If you give credit where credit's due, especially to your people, if I say something that came from one of my people, I want to make sure everybody knows it came from them, because I respect them. So, anyway.
10 minutes. Okay, developing good distributors is essential to building a business. But developing great leaders is essential to building a massive business. This is what you want to do. You want to find the people in your business that look like they can be leaders, that work with their teams, that their teams admire and respect. And you want to cultivate that. Because there are a lot of networkers who have enormous egos. And so what they want is to be the issue. They want to be on the stage every time. They want to be in control of everything. You know what that means? That means they will never be able to take a long vacation and have their business continue to grow, because they are the issue. For us, that is not how we've ever operated. We want leaders. When we build internationally, we want at least 1 or 2 leaders in every country we're in, because that way they handle the day-to-day work, and you come in and you do what you do best as you move up the ladder. We do, in our team, we do a leadership retreat. Ruby's and Above in this company. Last year when we came to Orlando, we rented this huge house over in somewhere, Palm Coast on the water. And our Rubies and Above all came there. We had a bunch of bedrooms. We all stayed together. We cooked together. And we did leadership training. You cultivate that. That is really, really important. And finally, No, there is not. There's no. And if you want to build this to last, one more, trust. So here's how the trust works. When somebody comes in a business, you sponsor somebody, it's like you hand them a piece of paper. And every single time, you forget about a three-way call. You don't return their calls. You don't return their messages. You are short with them. You don't do something for some of their people that they ask you to do. Whatever it is, they take a hole punch in that piece of paper. You do it enough, and there's nothing left of the paper, which means there is no trust. If you give them advice on a comp plan based on what's best for you, not what's best for them, that's a big hole punch. And they'll figure it out. It always amazes me when people do that, because your people aren't stupid. They'll figure it out. Because someday they're going to be sitting in a comp plan training and thinking, why did they do that to me? And the minute that they lose trust, it's over. They may not leave, but they left you. And their enthusiasm for the business will decline. So this is, to me, the most important thing. You treat people the way you want to be treated, and you don't lie to them, you don't exaggerate, you just help them achieve whatever goals they have. If their goal is $500 a month, and they make $500 a month, they're a success. If their goal is $50,000 a month, and when they hit that, they're a success. It's whatever they want that makes them a success. So, any questions?
I just want to add that, success is not how many times you're on the stage, it's how many times your people are on the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could be sitting out there and shooting hands or Carrie or one of the other people, I'd be first. Yes, sir.
What's your day-to-day activities? How do you start a day-to-day work?
My name is Sayed. I'm from Chicago, Sapphire. And my question is, my team always asks, what's your day-to-day activities?
Well, we kind of split our routine here, so let me tell you what I do, and then Paula can tell you what she does. I am kind of the problem solver for the team. So my first thing is I look at all of the ways, which used to be really simple, but now I have to look at a million different ways I get messages or things from people. So I'm going from year to year to year, looking for somebody who has issues with the company. They need this, they need that, they can't get this. And so that goes on. I make a list of all those things. I have a little notebook, and so I can remember. I got to get back to it. And then I look at that stuff. The next thing that I do is I do a lot of coaching with our people, which I really enjoy. Carrie and I right now are doing one with a group of Sapphires to help them get to Sapphire Elite. And we did, what was it, 6 or 8 weeks? 6 weeks that we did. And they do have to do things as they go along. And we work with them, whenever they need help. And so really that is my day. I'm doing most of that all day long. And then there are some days when I have individual coaching calls. I talk to some of our people, once a week for 15, 20 minutes just to catch up, find out what's happening. So my communication is really on the building end of the team. So?
I work a lot with, recruiting and three-ways and Skype calls and, income producing activities in that way. And obviously promoting things, and I do a lot for our international team. So thank God for Skype.
Yeah, the days are different depending on what's happening. Yes.
I have a two-part question.
Yeah, they can.
I have a two-part question. The first on training. Right prior to Momentum, I spent a lot of time creating what I thought was a great training program, and even made it so that people could Skype in, and it was great. Then when Momentum came, I thought, well, that should take the place of it. So the first question is, do you think that electronically can take the place of face-to-face training? And second, communication. I try to communicate to everyone through email and a Facebook group, but then I hear that they don't get my messages. So what's your preferred method of group communication?
I think, you need to do face-to-face strategy time with the people, helping them set their goals and what their plan's going to be, what their daily method of operation, what their activities are going to be this week and next week, and just being on top that they have a plan and they're working that plan, and what part you can play in that plan for sure. So probably in the strategy and the daily method of operation is probably where you need to spend your time for sure.
If you think about if you sponsor somebody, within the first 48 hours, you should be having a conversation with them about what they really want out of this business. So you can begin to help them put together a plan. As they go up the rank, building a plan of action is not that tough. Because if you think about it, somebody says, here's what you say to me, I want to make $7,000 a month. That's what I want. So what position do you have to be at?
No.
Ruby.
Ruby.
Ruby's the simplest way. 200 cycles times $35 equals $7,000. So that's how you do it. I never add the matching. I never add the other ones because you never know what that's going to be. So if you say to me, I want $3,500, what position is that?
Elite.
Sapphire Elite. Right? So it's not that hard to work. Now, unfortunately, between Sapphire and below, it's hard to calculate because it depends on who. Do you have a lot of customers that you're getting money from? Retail sales? Is everybody coming in at a basic pack? Are they coming in a little bit bigger? Are they sponsoring? And that one's really hard. But once you hit, somebody wants to make $3,500 or more, it's not that hard. Just work your way, look at what it takes, and help them back that up.
That's a really key point, and backing it up will tell you what you need to do now, every day, every week, every month, to get you where you want to be maybe 90 days from now or 180 days from now.
And it's rare to be in a position. I think you're going to go to the next one without new people. I can tell you. Almost always you need some new people. Yes, sir.
Before your success in network marketing, if I could take you back when you were professionals in other businesses and just starting in network marketing where you're balancing both, what did you find helped you the best in terms of really kind of getting a handle on your time management? If you were either a professor or you had another business, I mean, obviously you still had commitments that you had to fulfill. What was it that you did to break through and maximize your time in your network marketing business?
Well, for me personally, I was teaching at a university and I was coaching as well. So in the evening. So it was I was doing a lot. So I knew I had this amount of time. So first I covered the fact, how bad do I want this? And am I willing to do whatever it takes to get to where I want to be? So let's say I only had 2 hours a night. So I sat down and I realized that recruiting was key. I needed to bring the team, the distribution team. So I had to find a way that I could make calls during those 2 hours. And if I could figure a way to invite that would only take 3 minutes to set up appointments, then I could really work this. I spent a lot of time, and I created a less than a 3-minute invitation. I've written about it in, I don't know if Sean, if you have owning yourself, but I wrote how to do that. And it was on 4 steps. The want, the commitment statement, for the intro, the want, the commitment statement, and then the lock-in. And I would say to somebody, I'd make a list. I was a paper person then because that's all we had. And we're out of time? Okay, sorry. Anyway, what I would do is I would list everybody I knew, and I'd go down and identify the ones that had the qualities I was looking for, and the ones that I knew who their wants were, and then I'd call them and I'd say, Sean, you told me a while back you made a good job. Were you serious? Were you kidding around? Paula, I was serious. I think I got a way to get you out of it. I can't go into it now. When do you have some uninterrupted time we can talk? Bam. We set up an appointment. Then I'd be on to my next call. And I set up appointments. And because that's what I needed initially, I needed people. Okay, I needed people. I didn't understand the value of events, but once I understood how to promote the events, it even grew bigger because the people got the bigger picture and they started bringing people. And plus I had a dent on my forehead from going to an event by myself and then hitting my head on the seat